Hello, welcome back to my channel Lomzy Sews. In today's sewing tutorial, I'll be showing you how I made this strapless bustier dress or bustier top. It's a tube top and is beginner friendly and detailed. If you have been wanting to learn how to make corsets and bustiers, guys, this is where to start from. I will advise you to watch this video in full with rapt attention because it's going to be detailed and beginner friendly. Let's start with the sewing tutorial.
To make this, we'll be starting by drafting our basic bodice block. We'll move over to the strapless bustier, and I'm going to be using this pattern paper to do this. I need my sewing supplies. You will need rulers, curve rulers, paper rulers, your measuring tape, your sellotape, and also a compass. So I will tell you guys something before I head over to this tutorial. If you're a beginner and you want to be making corsets and bustiers, I would advise you to start with making strapless bustiers like this, and then when you're sure you have learned how to do strapless or tubeless dresses and tops, you can now advance into making corsets and bustiers, or your cupped corsets, or even three-part corsets. So if you want to, so my advice to a beginner is start with strapless bustiers. Strapless bustiers, you go over to a cupped corset. From cupped corset you go over to three-part or two-part corset. So take it step by step so that it will not overwhelm you. So we're going to be starting with this tutorial. The statistics I'm using for this tube top is bust 34, waist 30, and hips 40. So first of all, to start with the measurement, I will use this place for my shoulder line, and I'm going to use this place for my center back and my center front, and I'm going to now take the vertical lines. First, I will get the armhole line. The armhole length I'm using is 9 inches. I'll mark it here. And then the under bust I'm using is 13.5. I'm going to mark it here. Then the waistline I'm using is 17 inches. I'm going to mark it here. And then the final length, which is the hip line. Okay, the hip line is 24 inches. Then I have ½ inch here, which is okay. So I'm going to leave that like that. So now I'm going to square these lines out. So this is the armhole, the under bust, the waistline, and the final length is the hip line. Now we are going to be starting the circumference. The first thing we'll get is the shoulder width. The shoulder width I'm working with is 8 inches. I'm going to mark 8 inches here. I get the 8 inches by dividing the shoulder width from one bone of the shoulder to another one. 16 inches divided by 2 will give me 8 inches, and I will mark it here. I'm going to square this line down. Next, I'm going to get the neck width. The neck width I'm working with is 2.75. I'm going to mark it here. And then on the shoulder line, I'm going to drop down 1.5 inches from this shoulder line down for the shoulder slope. So I'm going to mark it here. And I'm going to connect this line to the neck width. Just for your information, this is a no shoulder bodice block that we are making. So next thing I'm going to decide is the length of the neckline. For the back neckline, I'm going to be using 0.5 inches. I'm going to mark it here, and I'm going to connect this to this. And then the neck depth I'm going to use for the front is 3 inches. I'm going to mark it here. And I'm going to connect this like this. Remember, this is a close fitting bodice block, so everything has to, be close to the neckline, to the body, The next thing we have to get is the circumference of the bodice block. So we're going to be using the hip line to get the circumference of the bodice block. Like I told you, the hips is 40 divided by 4 will give us 10 inches. I'm going to add ½ inch easing allowance to that, which will make it 10.5. And then I'm going to mark it here. I'll take it down to the hip line. Next, I'm going to get the armhole curve. So for me to get that, I'm going to divide from here to here into 2. Sorry, I made a mistake. I'm supposed to do 1.5. It's not 1 inch, it's 1.5. So it's 1.5 here, and I'm going to connect it like this. I'm going to clean this out so that you don't get confused. It's actually 1.5, not 1 inch. That's why you need all your sewing supplies. So I'm going to clean off this. So let's continue. So I will have to divide from here to here, which is 7.5 divided into 2 will give me 3.75. I'll mark it here. And then I'm going to come in 0.5 for the front. And I'm going to connect this like this and connect that one with. So I'm going to connect this like this. This will be for the front. And then this, I'll connect this like this. So this will be for the back and this will be for the front. Next, I'm going to go ahead and get the bust pan. So the bust pan we are using is 4 inches. I'm going to mark it here. And I'm going to square this down. So this is my bodice block. This is a close fitting bodice block. Now from here, this is where you now start making your corset and fitted dresses. Then I have my pattern on fold like this. Can you see? So this side will be for the back and this side will be for the front. So I'm going to go ahead and trace out all these things so that they transfer over to the back side. And I'm going to cut away the back and we'll continue with the front. So I will just do that. So I'll go ahead and cut out these places for the back. So now this is the front and this is the back. I would like to start with the back, this one that is not complicated. Let me start from there. So we are starting with the back. The first thing we will do is to draw the neckline. So it's a strapless dress, meaning it will not have any arm. So we are going to come down 1 inch. So for the neckline at the back, you will decide whether to either go down lower or you maintain the same neckline. I can go down 1.5 inches or 1.25, and I'm going to connect this line. I will actually go 1.5 inches and connect it like this. Next thing we're going to do is to mark the dart for the bodice block. So for the dart, I want to be using CM. That is because the numbers are too small. I don't want to mess that up. So we're going to be using CM to do this. So remember, this is the under bust line, although we don't need it for the back. I shouldn't have added it for the back. So the next thing we'll have to do is on the waistline, I'm going to come in by 2.5. I'll mark 2.5 cm here. On the armhole, I'm going to mark 2 cm. I'll mark it here. And I'm going to connect this line. I'll go out that way like this. Next, on the bust point, let me clean this off so that you don't get confused. Next, on this line, I'm going to make a dart of 3.5 cm. So the 3.5 cm, I'm going to share it on the both legs. So 3.5 cm divided by 2 will give me 1.75. I'll mark 1.75 this side, 1.75 on this side. Now to drop the dart leg from this waistline, I'm going to come down 13 cm, or you can actually do 15, but I want to do 13 cm. So I'm going to mark 13 cm here, and I'm going to connect this to this. You can decide to just bring it down like this. So let me just bring it straight down so I don't have to deal with this later. So I'm going to go further to make this a cinched waistline. So I'm going to make another dart here. Somebody was telling me in the comment section that it looks like Victorian corset. That is because I have cinched the waistline. So I'm going to divide from here to here into two. Whatever I have, I'm going to make a dart on that line. So I have here 4.5, which is 2 points here. So on this place, I'm going to make another dart. This time around, I'm going to make it 2 cm and I'm going to share it on the leg. So meaning one side 1 cm here and 1 cm here. So I'm going to draw this line to connect them. Now we are going to go to the center back. At the center back, we are going to come in 2 cm. I'm going to come 2 cm into this place. And from here, I'm going to come in 1 cm also. And I'm going to connect these things. Next, we are going to go further to, because this is a strapless top, we're going to go further and increase this dart here so that, you know, it will not gape up here. So I'm going to come in 1 cm on both sides. So now we have our back pattern. So this side are the side that are going off, and also this side. So I'm going to label this 1B, 2 back, and 3 back. Then this is the side seam. I'll notice that this is up, up, and up.
So guys, I think I'll be stopping here and I will continue in the next video because this video became too long and it was getting too difficult for me to export. I'm going to, continue this in the next video immediately after this one, please. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.